Hi guys, welcome back to another P3D version 5 video. We are today here at yeah, that's a good question. Where are we at? We are at Eros. Windhoek, I think. Windhoek. It's I think, let me see, the capital of Namibia, right? Yeah, Windhoek. And we are gonna be flying from here to Walvis Bay, so the coast. And I think this is the old kind of airport, Eros. I think they have a bigger one a bit outside the Hosea Kutako International, something like that. Which I also think is our alternate airport, to be honest. Let me change the viewpoint though, realize that's a bit of a clunky one. But yeah, we are flying with Namibia Commercial Aviation, if I'm not totally mistaken, but I think that's the one we're flying with. Yeah, Namibia Commercial Aviation. So a very local airline that used to exist back in the 90s, if I'm not mistaken. They used to fly the DC-6, one of the last ones produced, if I'm not mistaken. They have a weird call sign called Med Rescue. So I guess maybe they did Med Rescue, because based on the Wikipedia it said it was like a charter airline, but I guess you could do Med Rescue as well. But yeah, as you can see, we still we have the nice photo reel by Matthias, and we have the the nice Simmers Home freeware airport package. We'll both have it for Walvis Bay and for Eros. I mean, it's not perfect, right? And something seems a bit off with these parking spots, right? 'Cause I'm like already turned. But well, might be that's the logic. But I have a feeling that something might have gone wrong with the setup of these parking stands. But yeah, that's about it. Nothing too much exciting. Flying the old DC-6, which I haven't flown in a super long time, so that's something to keep in mind. Great aircraft, but yeah, you need to fly it quite a bit in order to kind of really enjoy it. So doing these kind of like I do, you know, jumping from different aircrafts, not really the way you should do it with these. Let's see if we can. Oh, look at that! You can open the window. That's cool. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the DC-6 was pressurized, right? Because it was kind of the competition towards the Constellation and I guess the Super Constellation. So that's good to be aware of. Let me see. So the first things we did was just put better in ground power, then ground power on here. And God, such a long time since I flew this one. It's not that difficult to set up, but it's, you know, there's some steps that you should kind of follow. First off, maybe we do actually want to get the payload, right? Want to get that correct. So now we have a gross weight of 81. We want to have it a bit lower. It's likely affected a bit by the amount of fuel we have. We want to have a block fuel of 6,000. So let's see, we'll have a bit above. Just because I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to fly it as sorry about that, fly it as efficiently as one should. We're now down at 67,000 in gross weight. Should have a zero fuel, I'm not sure why it doesn't, but oh well. Let's see, we're now up at 74. And we want to be at around 79. So let's see if we can maybe do it this way. 78, 79. We want to get down to kind of exactly like that. That should be good enough. And let me just double check that we actually have this in. Fuel looks correct. Looks relatively okay, so that's good to see. We don't wanna use the engineer. We'll service all the things and top up everything. Haven't really used it, so realistic things are on. We just wanna put these realism. Do we wanna clean the pedestal? I mean, technically they are no use, so we can clean them. It's not gonna help anyway. Oh, sorry, I moved the throttles. Didn't seem to do anything though, so let's pay a bit of attention to that. Can't seem to move anything though, to be honest. We can put that on. But yeah, we're doing a short up here. We're not gonna use GSX because if I remember correctly, it didn't really work. However, we can of course try to see operate stairs and see. Yeah, I mean, look at this. It does seem to think we are some sort of cargo plane, so we're actually just gonna not use GSX this time around. I'll need to set this one up, see if there's some profile for it at some point, but that point ain't today. At least not as of now. We can, however, use the Luke air tool. Let's see, I've forgotten to start it, unfortunately. Okay, and let's check if we have it running yet. I'm not really sure what's going on. I'm gonna close it, try to restart it, that might work. Yeah, now it seems to be now it seems to be up and running, and we can do our flight setup, passenger. Sync the data, see if we have the DC-6 here, or if we do not. We do have the DC-6. We don't really have a profile though for this one, so maybe we can just we should have 64 passengers. So let's just do that. We'll do okay, I guess we need to insert that. We'll do next. There is no airline for this one, but there's a generic English one that we'll use instead. So we'll start the passenger simulation. Get some ambient sounds. And we'll just put that on so we have that ongoing. So yeah, this is some steam gauges. This is old school. The best way of flying, right? Well, it depends, I would say. Depends what you prefer. Let me see though, we have God damn, it was a long time since I flew this one. Let's see, I know the DC-3 by heart because I've played so much for the Buffalo Airways one. Auxiliary blower, do we need that? Maybe not. We have those. Emergency, yeah, I guess we can keep that. Entrance, I can keep that. We'll put on the beacon light as well. Where's this? The anti-ice cabin heater, airfoil heater. Maybe no point putting those on. Let's see, fire detection systems. Detection test. Okay, those seems to work. Anything else from this beautiful? Maybe we can insert the flight plan actually. So we are departing from runway 19. Doesn't seem to be anything to put in here. Going to, sorry, this one should be removed. We're going to Uvgen. I wrote it a bit wrong. And then we are doing an airway UT945 to Uvchik. So we can load that, and then it's basically a direct to the airport itself. And here we can actually, let me import the flight plan to Pilot 280C, which actually had this airline as an already included one for the profile, and the call sign is actually Met Rescue, so that's very interesting. But yeah, let's look at this. No SIDS, no stars. We'll do the VR approach. I think that makes sense, right? We can fly it a bit different. We can do the ETLAX. I mean, technically we could fly one of these because we have the GPS, right? I would say ETLAX is the smart one. We can load that approach for 09. We can close, and as always I'll activate the approach. Let me see. Yeah, this makes sense. And then a bit of weird kind of lines, but I think that should be fine. We'll do the approach. So we are, we'll do the ETLAX one, right? We can load the approach. I'll also remove this one. Hopefully that should align it a bit better. Let's have a look here on our GPS. Yeah, now it looks aligned. So that's very good. Anything we need to think of in terms of risks? I guess the mountains, I mean, unknown terrain. I have never really flown to the airport myself, actually. Don't seem to have charts for it either. So 5B charts. But I found the VR chart, so that's good. And I'm actually gonna save that, because that should be some good information to have in the future. But yeah, it's gonna be quite reasonable. It's quite close to the sea, right? So around 580 minimum. Airport elevation is at 300.
Welcome aboard of this aircraft.
Oh, now we're getting the boarding.
Bags under the seat in front of them or in the overhead lockers above. We are preparing for a prompt departure, so please take your seats and fasten your seatbelts.
Okay, let's see. I guess I can welcome them aboard. And let's validate our flight plan. file our flight plan. I'm doing it here on this one, and let's connect again and see if we can get just do the clearance and the pushback and all of that. We're taking off from runway 30.
800 local winds are 252 at 2 knots.
Yeah, what's
Skies
the
clear. Temperature 21.
altimeter?
Dew point 13. Current QNH is 1019er. Arriving and departing runway 19er.
It's
Aeros Airport
correct,
information
but
Alpha.
we need
800 local winds are 252 at 2 knots. Skies clear. Temperature 21. Dew point 13. Current QNH is 1019er.
I need the
Arriving and departing
US
runway
QNH. Let me see if I can
at
get
2
that.
knots. Skies clear. Temperature 21. Dew point 13. Current altimeter is 3009er. Arriving and departing runway 19er.
9er.
Aeros Airport automated weather
Okay,
observation.
Good. We got some valuable information. We also want to check if this airport does have a frequency for control. FYWE does have a ground frequency 126.64.
52 at 2 knots. Skies clear. Temperature 21. Dew point 13.
Sorry,
Current
121.70. There we go. Now we should be able to request. I'm wondering where the actual. Oh, here's the radios, right? Or are these the radios? 127. Is this maybe the COM2 radio? COM2 nav. I guess this one has the radio as well. Med Rescue 4003, ready to copy. IFR clearance.
Med Rescue 4003 is cleared to Foxtrot Yankee Whiskey Bravo as filed. Expect departure
that's
runway 19er. Climb and maintain flight level 150. Expect higher clearances 5 minutes after departure. Windhoek approach on 120.5.
That's for
Squawk 5160.
Med Rescue
Yeah, that must be
4003 is cleared to Foxtrot Yankee Whiskey Bravo as filed. Climb and maintain
throttle
flight
thing.
level 150.
Squawk
Expect higher clearances 5 minutes after departure.
160.
Windhoek approach on 120.5. Squawk 5160.
Yeah.
Med Rescue 4003 read back correct altimeter 3009er. Let us know when you're ready for pushback.
Altimeter
There we go.
3009er Med Rescue 4003.
Okay, good. We got that information. That's always good to see. Nav lights, though. That's a good one. Do we have any of that somewhere hidden? We don't need the oil dilution. At least I don't think so. Let's ask for engine start. Med Rescue 4003. Ready for engine start.
Med Rescue 4003 engine start approved.
Okay, good.
Engine start approved. Med Rescue 4003.
We have the passengers on board.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captain has turned on the fasten seatbelt sign. Please be seated and check to see that your seatbelt is securely fastened.
We can also start closing some of these doors, as you can see. Could see it in the shadow as well. We do have the ground power. We have parking brakes set. Let's see here. So these are all on main tank. That should be fine. In terms of the rest of the things, we do have the mixtures, which I guess we can keep to idle cutoff unless, or maybe not for the engine restarting, right? We want to do auto rich. The coal flaps should be open, right, for start. That's fine. The supercharger. Ignition. I'm gonna put all of this, so let's do it properly. The third one. It was a while since I did this, so let's see. Let's see how it goes. I'm just cautious a bit that I'm not forgetting some important thing that we might want to set already. Here we have, for example, so cabin and flight. Let me see. What's the... God damn, now I forgot to update. We need to fix that, so I'm gonna do it again. Med Rescue 4003, ready to copy IFR clearance.
Med Rescue 4003 is cleared to Foxtrot Yankee Whiskey Bravo as
I
filed.
need to file it again.
Expect departure runway 19er. Climb and maintain flight level 150. Expect higher clearances 5 minutes after departure. Windhoek approach on 120.5.
I need to have to ask that again because I forgot that I had filed a flight plan already. I need to tweak.
Med Rescue 4003
We don't
is
want to go
cleared
up
to
that high.
Foxtrot Yankee Whiskey Bravo as filed.
Do we
Climb
have
and
something
maintain
to
flight
set
level
for the
150.
altitude?
Expect higher clearances 5 minutes after departure.
That does really
Windhoek
help.
approach on 120.5. Squawk 5160.
Med Rescue 4003 read back correct altimeter 3009er. Let us know when you're ready for pushback.
Altimeter 3009er Med Rescue 4003.
Here's the pitot heats. We need to put that on. Med Rescue 4003, ready to copy IFR clearance.
Med Rescue
There we go.
4003 is cleared to
Now we're
Foxtrot
getting the
Yankee
correct
Whiskey Bravo
information.
as filed. Expect departure runway 19er. Climb and maintain flight level 120. Windhoek approach on 120.5.
Okay,
Squawk 3531.
Med Rescue 4003 is cleared to Foxtrot Yankee Whiskey Bravo as filed.
That's the night
Climb and
lighting.
maintain flight level 120. Windhoek approach on 120.5.
I could have done night
Squawk
flight,
3531.
but not this time, I guess.
Med Rescue 4003 read back correct altimeter 3009er. Let us know when you're ready for pushback.
I'm a
Altimeter 3009er Med
bit
Rescue
wary
4003.
though of the fact that I don't seem to be able to move the... So I'm just wondering, profile specific, do we have one? We have one for the DC-6 specifically. Okay. There we go. Thank God I checked this before we did anything. We should have a working flight this way. What's this one? Marker beacon. Okay. Okay, let's give it a try. See if I can still remember somewhat these procedures to get this lovely aircraft up. So we want to do the booster pump. The question was, in what order? Was it prime, boost, and start, or was it start, prime, boost? We first need to do the engine correctly.
3, 6, 9, 12.
Yeah, look at that, buddy. Yeah. And we have a good engine start. Gotta wait for all these to kind of reset. Hell yeah. Still got it in me. Okay, let's give that second engine a chance.
6, 9, 12.
Engine number 2 is up and about. Wonderful, let's smoke. Someone is walking there in the back, some animated figure. Let's wait for these to reset. We'll start all engines and yeah, I think that should be sufficient. Okay. We'll start engine number 4 next. And we need to remember, and I'm actually gonna put this one and engine 1 already, just so I don't forget. It's very easy to do, right? There we go, engine number 4 is starting. Oh, something was going a bit crazy there. No clue why it activated. Was that the thrust reversers? Let me just check. So we have number 1. Yeah, manifold pressure. So I guess number 1 is the only one we haven't yet started. Yeah, look at that, engine number 1. Happy days. Great news. And that should be correct. We don't need to have that on. Let's check as well where this runway is. We're taking off from runway 19, so we have to taxi quite a bit actually. Oh, wait a second. Something is going on here again. Yeah, that was very odd. It again went into the reverse. Super odd. Super odd. Okay, well, we have some taxiing to do. I'm gonna ask for push. Oh, wait, look at that again. What the hell's going on? Now let me see if we have something weird with the throttles here. Axis assignment. Can we see? Okay, we have a profile. Yeah, we have the axis set, that's fine. What about calibration? We have nothing on separate reverses. Which makes sense, because we're not controlling, so okay. I'm just gonna check if we have something odd with the thrust. Decrease quickly. Throttle decrease quickly. And that's fine. Let's delete F2. Not sure that's the one causing it, but you can never be too careful. I'm also just gonna make sure and check throttle cut, that's F1, increase, throttle decrease, page down, we don't need that one.
2 minutes entering the runway now, we need 1 or 2 minutes more for the cabin.
Let me see, decrease quickly, throttle 10. Okay, let's see. Med Rescue 4003, ready for pushback.
Med Rescue
No, not
4003
engine start.
engine start approved.
Engine start approved. Med Rescue 4003.
Med Rescue 4003, ready for pushback.
Med Rescue
Pushback
4003
approved.
pushback approved.
I'll put on the pitot heat because I'm gonna forget
Pushback
that
approved. Med
otherwise.
Rescue 4003.
I'll also put on the safety. Med Rescue 4003, ready to taxi.
Med Rescue 4003 runway 19er. Taxi
Okay,
to
we are
Alpha.
getting the
Hold
taxi.
short runway 19er.
And let's
Runway
see
19er,
these
taxi
ones.
via Alpha. Hold short runway 19er. Med Rescue 4003.
We can keep them a bit higher, just for takeoff purposes. And we need to, let's see, still have that connected. So there we go. And let me just change back. Voila. I'm gonna lower my own volume a bit. Oh no, now it's some overboosting again. What the hell? It's like I'm getting some. Oh, I know where. I know why. I know why. I know why. It's because I finally found out it wasn't the thrust reverse. I don't know what I was thinking about. It's my TCA yoke.
If you are traveling with a child or someone who requires assistance,
And this one seems to have
the other person. Keep your mask on and
elevator
when the crew
access.
member advises
No.
you to remove it.
How does this
In the
work?
event of an emergency, please assume the bracing position. Lean forward with your hands on top of your head and your elbows against your thighs. Ensure your feet are flat on the floor. A life vest is located in a pouch.
That's so odd.
When instructed to do so, open the plastic pouch and remove the pouch. Slip it over your head. Fasten straps around your waist and adjust at the front. To inflate the vest, pull firmly on the red cord. Only when leaving the aircraft.
I'm not sure. Let's do okay. Okay, so I just need to make sure I don't press my little mini throttles on my TCA Boeing yoke, and we should be fine. So that kind of explains why I haven't seen that issue before either. Okay, good. We have that set. We did forget to say, I guess, unclosed doors. We should have said as well. Okay. Maybe these should be on. Seems a bit weird that they wouldn't otherwise. Let's see, we need to taxi all the way down here and then we'll take off from there. So I'm gonna release the brakes. Gonna start adding some thrust. It's looking good. We can go with a bit of flaps. Actually, I'm wondering what the takeoff settings. Let's add a bit of trim. And I'll try to do the flight engineer's job as well. I just hope there's nothing with the fuel gauges that I've forgotten. But let's see. And we actually gonna hide this one. We need to taxi all the way out to the, and I'm just based on that gonna put those on. And nothing we wanna do with that. And let me, I'm gonna move this pilot to 80C so it's not in my way. sure if I'm a big fan of having this one up here. I think you can change it. Oh yeah, we need to repair the engines because of that. Just to make sure. I mean, I'm okay taking damage when I've actually mishandled it and not when it's a setup issue. I think you can somehow remove it, but oh well. Okay, but we're on our way. We have our passengers. We are on our way to, what was it, Valvis Bay or something like that, right? Valvis Bay, yeah. This will be very interesting. I do wonder though, can I... There's so much clutter on this. I'm gonna check actually if I have a... Yeah, I do have it, so I can open it on the side. I'm gonna lock it in there, just because it's gonna help me quite a bit. So I don't have to look up there all the time. Let's see, menu, map overlays. Topo is fine, it's mainly the map setup. We can keep less on the details. Should be a bit easier to see things. Oh yeah, when I changed the view I lost it again. I think it's Shift 8. Hey, let's see. Fuel. Where does this all... Here we have the fuel quantities. So we're very low, right? We are flying a short flight. 130 nautical miles, something like that. 12,000 feet. It's not gonna be a crazy interesting flight in that regard. Let's see if you remember how to use the autopilot as well. It does help quite a bit when you have that one working. Apart from that, main questions. Okay, now we have the landing lights already on. Supercharger, once we get up there in the higher altitudes. We need to keep the boost pumps on for takeoff, if I'm not mistaken. Then of course the prop controls, as well as going auto lean at, I think it's around 10 to 13,000, something around that. So let's keep our eyes on that and make sure we do it correctly. Okay, and we are basically gonna be turning almost immediately to the right in order to get to our waypoint of Eugen, which you can see up there. And let's see now if we get that takeoff clearance.
Med Rescue 4003 contact Arrows Tower on 118.7.
Yeah, we're getting that. That's good news.
Tower on 118.7 Med Rescue 4003.
Med Rescue 4003 ready for takeoff. Did they copy that? Maybe I should do it again. Med Rescue 4003 ready for takeoff.
Med Rescue 4003
we have
winds are 252 and 2 knots.
Takeoff clearance.
Runway 19 are cleared for takeoff. Squawk 3531, maintain runway heading
Okay,
until above
let's turn here.
6,500 feet, then turn right to heading 3302.
Yeah, this is a true piston
Runway 19 are cleared for
bird.
takeoff. Squawking 3531, maintain runway heading until above 6,500.
It looks pretty
feet, then
good.
right to
I'm wondering if I
330
should add my own
Med
PBR to it.
4003.
So I know some of these P3 version 4 PBR aren't the best for P3 version 5. But oh well. Haven't bothered with that yet. Okay, let's see. I think we are ready to go. Let's make sure we don't overstress the engines. Carburetors are looking a tad bit in the red. Maybe we can bring them a bit up. Nothing crazy. That looks okay. I'm gonna take them one more up. Hydraulic system seems to be off. That's the autopilot. We have the gyro pilot, altitude controls. Guess that's the vertical speed, right? Yeah, let's just try and then see how this one goes. Good. Yeah. Let's see. I'm gonna keep the parking brake set down. Let's slowly start to push up. Still looking pretty good. Releasing the brakes. Airspeed is alive. Climbing slowly. I think it's around between 80 and 100 knots. We should start taking off. We can pull back a bit on the yoke. See if it will take off on itself with the trim I have. So 100 knots. I'm gonna pull back on the stick. And we have liftoff. Albeit very slowly. It's not flying like a jet, right? So we need to be a bit careful now. Okay, we want to climb till we're above 6,500. So still some ways to go. Yeah, that's leaving it super tight. Let's see if we can add a bit more thrust. I'm gonna go to flap 0, see if that removes some of that last. We're also gonna go off. I'm gonna retract the lights. So we're still climbing up towards 6,500. Very soon we'll be there, and then maintain runway heading, and then turn right to 330. Okay. Look at these hills though. This is gonna be very interesting. We're gonna start turning, but we'll have to take that into consideration, right? We'll switch the cold flaps up a bit. I think to around 4 degrees. And let's see if we can clear the terrain here. We are climbing and turning simultaneously.
4003 contact Windhoek approach on 120.5.
Imagine flying this without the visual that we have now. That's the only reason why I'm even daring to do this. I really don't know there have been hills like this here. Talk about doing bad pre-planning, to be honest.
Med Rescue 4003, good morning.
Okay, we're still climbing. Let's go back to the normal barrel ref. It's looking good. We're clearing the obstacles here very nicely. And look at this little city up here. That's pretty neat. Amazing that the autogen also captures it. And we are turning. I'm gonna start turning a bit more, and I'm actually gonna pull back a bit on this one. Let's see on the prop one. Okay, and we are turning. looking, I'm gonna open it up on my other control. It's looking pretty good. We're almost right on path to FYWE. Sorry, FYWE, that's the airport, to Uvgan. I'm gonna trim a bit lower now. So let's see if that plays and have an effect on our climbing. We don't want to be climbing as fast as we have. The funny part is I'm trimming with my joystick, but I guess I should. Not sure if you could trim. I think maybe the only trim you had was that wheel. Okay, let's see. Oil temps are fine. Fine-ish. Carburetor. We don't want that just yet. But we do want those. But I really need to be a bit careful in terms of how much we climb. Okay, let's turn to the left here. It's okay to climb a bit. We don't want to climb too much. Still looking pretty good.
Med Rescue 4003 contact Windhoek Center on 124.7.
Center on 124.7 Med Rescue 4003.
Okay, let's have a look. I'm actually gonna move, I'm gonna unlock it and move this to my other side so I don't ruin the view.
Med Rescue 4003, good morning.
The trim is very... It's quite a bit too high actually. Let's see now if I tweaked it a bit too much.
Med Rescue
We have an ERJ here somewhere.
And maintain flight level 120.
120.
Climb and maintain flight level 120 Med Rescue 4003.
And we're basically gonna be at 120 at any minute now. So let me see if I can if we do autopilot. Odd. Let me see. Do I have a realistic autopilot engage?
Med Rescue 4003 descend and maintain flight level 120.
Sorry, we're flying relatively
Descend and maintain flight
okay.
level 120 Med Rescue 4003.
I'm gonna pull back a bit more on the engines. We do want to descend a tad bit, and I'm gonna try to see if I want to resynchronize. Let me see, we are descending very slowly now. Let me check. DC-6 engage autopilot PMDG. So mode selector to gyropilot. that one. And then altitude control.
Med Rescue 4003 descend and maintain flight level 120.
Descend and maintain flight level 120 Med Rescue 4003.
Now let me see if we can turn. So we are driving a bit away from our, and we are descending though quite slowly. I want to see if we can add any.
Med Rescue 4003 descend and maintain flight level 120.
I think that's how you descend.
120 Med Rescue 4003.
And now we just need to remember to also track back with this one. So it's a bit of a thickly autopilot, right? The hard part is kind of maintaining 0-degree turns, right? So it's not like a heading mode selector that you set. In that way I feel like it's worse than the DC-3, so I'm not sure if that's how it's supposed to be. I need to look into them. I know I've questioned it before, but just never bothered. Let's see now. We can turn a bit less, no point overdoing it and then having to yeah. Oh yeah, that's me again, pushing the... Hey, let's see, this should be enough turn. We have about 87 nautical miles till our next, and in total about 160 nautical miles of flying to do. Let's have a look at our carburetor. Looks a bit low. We are soon at 12, so let's be ready to put in the altitude control. I think technically we could go on lean, right? So let me just see, make sure that we get on the... Hey. Now let's make sure I don't by the mistake have the guy on. Because I know there's a setting, right? Don't look like I have it, so that's good. Okay, now we're a bit below, but I'm gonna add the... We can be a bit below, that's fine. Oh, and now we're in the clouds. Okay, let's see if this one maintains. It does seem to maintain relatively well. So that's fine. Yeah, that's okay. In terms of, yeah, going to lean fuel, I think the way you do that is you want to throttle down a bit. Now we're on lean. Now let me see, can we do the... superchargers? Carb temp causing damage to engine 4. Oh, we don't want to do that. And we do need our... Come on now. How is the carb temp causing damage to... Let me see this. I mean, potentially I was a bit sloppy with the way, but I thought we had sufficient. We're having it at a bit too low of setting. Let me see if I can tweak this. Look at that. Number 4 is much better. So we're gonna move all of this up quite. Beam it far too high for auto lean. Oh, yeah, okay. That's probably the big cause of the problem. Yeah, so we don't wanna be on the supercharger. Okay, that was probably my mistake. And you can see the kind of damage here. This doesn't look good, right? So I'm gonna repair the engines just to see if we can kind of fix this. But that's very interesting. So okay, so we were flying way too, and now I forgot, of course, to turn. The way of flying with this old autopilot. And let me check now. DC-6. Let's turn a bit. We should be almost aligned. Right, can you localize your approach? I guess you could follow the localizer, right, instead of doing this heading. Let's see, are we still turning a bit too much? A tad bit too much. Let's try to align. It's looking good though, in the sense that we haven't gotten any, let me move this one down, we haven't gotten any complaints in terms of, well, apart from not being on the right altitude, it's been fine. Maybe we can get a good picture. Let me see what I had. I had this as my... I kind of like this one being in the air more. It's a more neutral one. It always looks nice to see those big piston engines being up and about. Let's see. How's our values looking? Otherwise, oil temp is fine. We're a bit high on the carb though, specifically with the number 1. So let's move that one down. See if that does have an impact. Tiny impact. Let's go here to the front just quickly. Do I have any good viewpoints for that? I have this one. Oh, that's very nice. So does this work? All of these? That's crazy, right? I mean, this one is an unnecessary viewpoint. Let's update this and put it as a GoPro viewpoint instead, I would say. So now we should have a GoPro viewpoint. This one, which is good for the carburetors. This one also seems reasonable, and yeah, for the circuit breakers. Good. In terms of making our approach, let's start thinking about that one. We're doing 1136 is the nav one. We can put that as active. We're already seeing something happening here. Let's turn a tad bit. I must say though, compared to South Africa, Namibia is quite, well, I wouldn't say as nice. It has a very interesting kind of climate, kind of savanna, very savanna-like. Not sure if that's the correct, but it almost feels that way. Let's have a look. Engine still looking okay. Okay. Pressures okay. I wanna be turning a bit less, chasing that heading. In terms of getting the obs lined up correctly, I do wonder what this one does. Is this the... Okay, that just seems to be heading. I guess if you had a heading, let me see, gyro heading increase, decrease, VR 1. So if I put this correct, we want to have an inbound route of 089. 0. Now we're going away from it, right? That's the info we're getting here. And let me turn still a bit to the right. So we are going to the next one, which is Uvchik. Yes, that is correct. As we're in cruise, we can shut the cowl flaps. I didn't even think of that. And let me see what the effect is on shutting them. Shouldn't that... Yeah, the carburetor air looks a bit high still. Let me see if that will help. Let me get back to my... Yeah, looks a bit better now. Oil temps are looking fine. Oil pressure looks okay. Fuel pressure looks okay. What's the general fuel situation? It looks okay. So the mains have and the alternates. I'm trying to figure out if you want to use the alternates actually first. Let me see if that... So we do have quite a bit in the alternates, right? Let me have a look. So that looks, that's the alternates. So we always had more in the alternates because we used the mains. And one thing we should have checked, we should have done the boost pumps, right? That should have been on low when we got started. Small little mistake. Could have been detrimental though. And now we are turning a bit too much again. You can see this chasing the heading is, I hate, not hate is a strong word. This autopilot is a bit different. Now, since I'm flying in Africa, I actually want that P3D animals. There is this wildlife thing. I'm gonna show you. AbSim library has this wildlife autogen, bird, animal, sea life. I'm not sure how it actually works. And I haven't been able to find a good picture, but it's supposed to work and supposed to add. And let me see, P3D wildlife. Maybe there's some pictures on it. It doesn't see them. Would be interesting to see kind of how it is. I'll need to try to set it up, because it would be cool, right? To see some animals. I guess you can do that in Microsoft Flight Sim, which is really nice, of course. I mean, it's a great flight sim for bush flying and flying low, and of course for airliners as well. Let's not lie about that. The A380, all of these good things having been released. Okay, we still haven't gotten any kind of clearances in terms of descending or similar, so it's looking quite fine. In terms of how long we have left, still 100 nautical miles, so it's gonna be a long flight, this one, if this continues.
Med Rescue 4003, you are off course. Turn left to heading 250
Ah,
to
they
return to
finally
course.
realized that I'm off
250
course.
Rescue 4003.
Let's try to get back actually. We need to turn a bit more. Could be the winds as well. Let's see if we have that information. Yeah, it's tracking up, so we are getting a bit of a wind
Med Rescue
component.
4003, turn left to heading 250.
Could I have noticed that if I actually bothered reading? So at flight level 124, yeah, I should have been able to see that. It's around 12. Let me check what the wind aloft is saying. Yeah, from kind of the south, 14 knots. Yeah, that makes sense. Let me change that a bit. Here it looks a bit better. We're seeing some green. I really like photoreal in the sense the kind of variety you get, right? Sometimes, of course, it can be a bit disappointing, right? Because the variety isn't that much. But it's still quite amazing seeing all of these canyons, hills, etc. All of that sort of stuff. Okay, have we shut all of these? These are all shut. Guess we could close it even more if we wanted to. Let's have a look at the engines. Looking pretty good. We actually do have a cabin, but it's really kind of just for the outside view, right? There's no more kind of purpose with it. But at least we can get some wing views and stuff. Okay, let's check now. Still looking good, still looking good. We're not flying that fast, which does explain.
Med Rescue 4003, resume navigation.
Explains why it's taking some time. I think it should be fine now. I'm gonna go and get some water. I always get more kind of, I don't know, thirsty when I'm flying these more higher workload types of aircrafts. But yeah, be right back.
Med Rescue 4003, you are 41 nautical miles east of the airport.
Okay.
Altimeter 2985
There we
cleared
go.
direct ETLAX, then cleared for the VOR approach to runway 09er with the ETLAX transition at Walvis Bay Airport contact.
Let's see,
Walvis
we're getting
Bay
some
Tower approach on 122.5.
Altimeter
info.
2985 cleared direct ETLAX, then cleared for the VO or approach to runway 09er with the ETLAX transition at
Have we been
Walvis
cleared
Bay
to
Airport
ETLAX?
approach on 122.5 Med Rescue 4003.
2985. What's the transition altitude? That's a
Approach
10,000.
Med Rescue
Quite high.
4003 inbound for VO or approach runway 09er.
Med Rescue 4003, good morning, continue VOR to runway 09 clear and established on final.
Continue VO or runway 09er will call when established on final Med Rescue 4003.
Okay. But nothing in terms of descending yet, which I guess makes sense. It's around after ETLAX we need to descend. So it will take some time before we have to. Let's have a look at our alternates, the main ones. Stop dropping, we're using the alternate tanks, which makes sense. Carburetor looks fine, as do most other items. Looking pretty good. It's quite a versatile country though. The photo really showcases that. Now this is more kind of desert-ish and stuff. And we're getting close to the sea now as well. Where it seems to be a huge kind of desert right by the sea. Isn't that weird? How does that add up? I'm not gonna who knows. Someone with geography skills will be able to answer the logics of Mother Nature. Okay, we're turning left now. Maybe a tad bit too slow. We'll soon have to readjust. We can already decrease a bit the turn. Even a bit more. Looking pretty good. And one more. Okay. How does it look here in front? Looks pretty good. The weather looks quite varied. You can have a weather radar on this one. I don't think so, it's too old. What information does this one give us? 26.1. That must be related to that the localizer. Nautical miles. Knots, minutes. Yeah, let's see, I'm gonna pull back a bit on the thrust. Let's have a look, they still look good. Here we have some maximum permissible 174 knots, 152 knots, true indicated airspeed. Okay. Let's see. Still no start on our descent. The approach will be at 2,200 feet. And we'll just wait for them to call us. Let's do a bit more to the left. If it's this flat and sandy, maybe it's somewhat easy to emergency land. Now I'm gonna be honest, I assume it's probably quite hard to emergency land on this kind of ground, right? I mean, look at it. It's not as flat as you want to believe. But this kind of desert thing, I really... So interesting, right? And then water. But it's still dead all the way up until water. So I guess the warmth is so high that it just kills it all. Let me turn a bit to the right now, noticing on Pi 30C that we are maybe chasing a bit too much that left turn. Potentially to our own detriment. 60 nautical miles to go. And you can see here the approach. So we'll start descending after Etlax, getting down to 5,000. Which we want to be out here. Then 4,000 at Uplin. And then 2,800. And then we're coming in for the approach down to Walvis Bay. There's some other airport quite close to here, I think. It's a bit north. I think there used to be one here, right? You can see kind of the runway, but I don't think it's open anymore. But yeah, there used to be an airport. Let me control like that, and I'm gonna move this. Check again. Yeah, damn, we've been going out of course now. Let's turn back in. Continuing our chase. We can turn maybe a tad bit more. And here's the supercharger airflow rates. Cabin differential pressure. Yeah, there's a lot to learn with this aircraft, right? Yeah, you even have a manifold pressure gauge up there. Do you have another one up here? No. So what's the logic with that? Just to reserve a backup one for the number 1 and 2 engines? Temperature control in Fahrenheit. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna keep it relatively cold. I forgot to tell them about the takeoff, so yeah, I was a bit of a showcasing my excellent piloting skills there. Let's pull back a bit. What's the weather at our destination? That's the main question I have. Active Sky should give us the info. Few at 2,000, so I guess like that one. Some wind. We'll have a bit of a crosswind, just tiny amounts. Should be fine. The only thing I'm hoping to be able to succeed with is to actually land with the back wheels first, because I always tend to land with the front wheels with this one. At least thus far in my DC-6 career. Okay, let's turn a bit more to the left, see if we can align somewhat. Maybe one more. And maybe one more. It's always too much, and you try to turn a bit less, but the problem is that it's kind of like increasing right all the time. So you're always, you know, unless you correct for it, you're always turning, right? And then after a while it just stacks up too much. And here we can see the changing landscape into this more kind of desert. I guess this is more savanna. Even some buildings here. And then it's basically just desert with some clouds. And not looking the best. The PBR is pretty good here at the back though. That one is really shiny. A very beautiful aircraft. Are we turning enough? That's the question. Let me do a bit of a crazy turn here, see if we can get back, since we are gonna start descending almost SAP. Let's see. And we are turning. Let's turn a bit less. Okay, we're going for the next one. Keeping on, pulling back a bit on the throttles. So we're gonna have to make a pretty steep turn here, right? Oh, we're gonna miss that by a mile in this pace. Let's see if we're getting that descent clearance yet. Oh no, we got in clear for the approach, right? So I guess technically we can start descending, right? I hope, at least. So let me remove that one, and then I'm gonna start pulling this one down while I decrease. We're flying almost good enough. Maybe we're turning a bit too much. We are descending, albeit slowly. Let's keep a look a bit on the I have a very low oil pressure. Gotta pay a bit of attention to that. Yeah, we've been turning way too much. Let's try to turn it back a bit. Okay, and let's see, we need to descend even further and faster. We really gotta get down. I only managed to descend like 1000 now. Not even that, 800 feet. I'm gonna put these out. Should create a bit of drag, if I am correct. Yeah, those. All drag is a good drag. Let's have a look here. Carburetor one is going up, so we can decrease. We don't want to shut the hydraulics. Let's actually lower it. Lower it quite a bit. I need to pay attention to it, of course. Still flying sort of okay-ish. I think we could descend a bit quicker. We might have to do a bit of a longer... look at that little ship down there. a bit of a longer turn. Should start descending earlier when they gave us kind of the clearance. I knew it was a bit too optimistic. It looks pretty nice. There seem to have some possibility to grow stuff here by the coast. Yeah, we've been turning way too much outside. Let's turn a bit back. We're below 10,000 now, so that's good. Which also means we should go to the local altimeter setting. If this one just wants to stay open for us, which is 2985. So just a bit lower than we already have. So yeah, a bit better situation. We're still at 9,000 feet. Still have a long way to go to get down to, I'm gonna double check that, 2,000, 4,000, 2,280 actually, to be precise, 2,280. Okay, so we are turning now. Should hopefully be enough, but let's see. Let's have a look again. Carburetor is looking dangerously high, and I thought I had decreased those quite a bit, but likely not enough. Let's see if this is too extreme. No, it's looking relatively okay, maybe even too little. There we go. Let's try that with the carburetor. I'll turn a bit more. We're back to odd rich with all of these, so that's good at least. Our speed is increasing, interestingly enough. Getting down to 8,000. See if I can. Can we do -2 for the... Let's see if that has any effect. How's it looking in terms of our fuel quantity? It is looking okay. Can we stay on the alts? Technically, I guess. We can put the booster pumps on. Technically, we're already looking at overshooting it a bit. How do we get this back? Can we do that? Let's see, we can continue descending. That's what we are doing. Oh yeah, that one needs to be off. We can get back with the... Sorry. This is the way we need to do it. How about the localizer? How does that work? Can we do approach? Oh, and we are overspeeding like crazy. Let me see if I can trim this one out a bit. I need to turn quite a bit in order to get back on the localizer. Let me see. Let's see if we're at 5,000. I guess we can go do a bit of back and forths here. Well, let's see.
Med Rescue 4003 altimeter 2985 at Walvis Bay Airport.
Altimeter 2985 Med Rescue 4003.
Yeah, we turned way too fast. Let's turn around. This is the one way we'll just be going back and forth for a bit. Try to get down to the right altitude. You can see we overshot it, right? By quite a bit. Let's have a look here. Okay, starting to look a bit better. Let's see if we can send a bit slower. We should be much lower though. Yeah, now we overshot that one. So let's turn back. There's the runway though. Actually, the best way to do this is just to turn around. We'll be able to get down to the level we want to. So we just turn around and we take this last waypoint. And I'm gonna think a bit about how to get this localizer. Okay, we are turning. Let me zoom out. We'll just come back in. We can decrease our okay, let's see, we're almost at the right. We can really start stopping to turn. Okay, we want to turn a bit more to the left. Not too much. I'm actually gonna disconnect the autopilot very shortly. See if we can. We'll go to flaps 10. That's fine. You can keep the localizer. I'm gonna start the turn in towards the airport over there. Yeah, sorry for this, it's me who hasn't flown this in a while, right? So I'm not sure how to... I think it's just the way you kind of switch it. You have to be on the kind of the localizer in a good way. Let's see. We had the booster pumps on, so that's fine. We have the lights on. We see the airport, we overshot it by a bit, but not too bad. We can add some more flaps. I'll try to trim it a bit. It's pretty good visibility now. Let's drop the landing gear. That should also help a bit with aligning us. Let's make sure it's on the one runway, and it is, so we don't land on the wrong one. We're a bit low on the approach. We'll continue adding. As you can see, this will be the problem, trying to make sure we don't land with the front wheel first. You can imagine it's happened a lot in real life. Probably led to some crashes as well. Okay, so apart from our awful janking with the, what is it, like a Sperry autopilot, we have thus far made it pretty nicely. We're a bit low still.
4003 winds are 033 at 12 knots.
I'm gonna go flaps full.
Runway 09er.
I'll a bit more thrust.
Runway 09er Med Rescue 4003.
Not too much though. Let's try to use that rudder as well. Let's try to maintain. We can't maintain, we're descending way too quickly. Gonna add a bit more thrust. Okay, let's see. We are maintaining. We are gonna need to, definitely we're gonna need to do a bit of a rudder kick to the left to get this one. Okay. Not sure if that was a good one. I feel like I still landed with the front, and I feel like I landed a bit sideways. But let's see, I'm gonna brake now. Do we even have thrust reversers? It doesn't look like it. God, this plane even got me stuttering. That's how intense it is to flight. But hey, we made it. We have landed. We're all alive. It was an awful approach, me trying to go circle and circle. I mean, the problem was that I was just too high. I should have questioned, this is the problem. Sometimes I don't question Pilot ADC, it's a problem. Sometimes I follow it blindly. Let's see. I don't think I even... Did I get a... Yeah, look at that landing rate, 510. That's a bit too high. I'm gonna close PAXIM, we don't need it anymore. I just wanna see the landing rate, right? So we can judge that. We can also close. Oh, we got landing clearance actually, so that's fine. But yeah, let's try to get to the airport. Gonna turn a bit here. But yeah, it would have been a nice if the landing rate would have been a bit better. But it felt relatively smooth, so I was a bit surprised. I thought it was gonna be better. Now let's have a look when we actually land. But yeah, as you can see, it's not the most, how would you say, interesting airport. It's not really giving the vibes that this is where I want to fly lots of times. And there's unfortunately not that many runways either at runways, but not that many airlines actually. Airlines in Namibia, right? To fly. It's like Air Namibia, which went bankrupt, right? So I guess Airlink probably flies a lot in Namibia, but that's just a hunch. Yeah, that was pretty good. So apart from the failures earlier on when flying in terms of getting the engines a bit, trying to supercharge and stuff, we were able to maintain the approach without breaking the engines. So I'm pretty proud of that. One day I'm gonna do a real long haul flight with this one and I'm gonna be super pissed because it's gonna be awful, right? I'm gonna end up somewhere totally wrong. Can you have a sextant with this if you're doing like a cross the ocean one? Maybe? I can't see any landing positions, so I am just gonna wing it. We'll just do this one. Now we should close our engines, but I have a feeling it's gonna be better. We can keep them on. Let me just check the fuel situation on the alts. Fine. It's gonna be better for the replay if we keep it on. So let me just try to get the replay going here. So yeah, here's the landing. Okay, so I'm coming in pretty okay actually. Like the end part of the approach I'm pretty content with. It's the landing itself, because I start to kind of lose control. It could potentially be that I just have too much flaps out. I should have probably maybe stayed with a bit less flaps, not gone 50. I mean, look at it, it's basically a speed brake rather than lift creating device. And now let's see the landing itself. Try to pitch up. Hey, we do actually go down with the... But that can't have been that high in terms of the landing rate. We shall investigate. And the way we shall do that is by looking here. Oh no, it could actually have been. Let me see. So now we are below. There it increases because I push down and get afraid. Now it's gonna be... Nah, it was lower. It was around 300. Luke Airtool trying to mess with me. So that was actually a pretty good landing. Apart from this at the end, kind of. But that's because I landed a bit... I didn't use the left rudder enough and kicked it kind of into place. But hey, a good landing is one you can walk away from, and I think most people would have walked away from that. Maybe a bit dizzy after all of our spins and trying to finally get down on the runway, but we didn't give up and we came down relatively safe. So that's always a good sign. But yeah, thank you for watching. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below. Otherwise, until next time. Bye bye.